The Borg finally killed Picard in Star Trek, but Jean-Luc got his revenge. Few rivalries in Star Trek history run deeper or more personal than Jean-Luc Picard's battle with the Borg. For decades, the cybernetic collective has haunted his legacy. Ever since Star Trek, The Next Generations, the best of both worlds, turned the calm, philosophical captain into Locutus, a mouthpiece of the Borg hive mind. From that moment, Picard's life and identity were forever intertwined with theirs. Yet in Star Trek, Picard Season 3, that story finally came full circle. The Borg may have claimed Jean-Luc's life in the end, but for the first time, he truly won. The long shadow of Locutus. The Borg first killed Picard in a sense when they assimilated him in 2366. As Locutus, Picard became the face of the Borg's most devastating attack on the Federation, an invasion that wiped out 39 starships and over 11,000 lives at the Battle of Wolf 359. For years afterward, the event haunted him like a living scar. Star Trek First Contact dug even deeper into this trauma, showing Picard's inability to let go of his hatred for the Borg. When the Queen returned to taunt him, it wasn't just a fight for humanity, it was a psychological reckoning. But the real cruelty of the Borg was that they never truly left him. Even when he was cured, traces of their technology and influence remained in his body and mind. Later canon, especially Picard Season 1, revealed that his Borg implants had caused neurological deterioration that would eventually kill him. The collective's violation of his identity set off a chain reaction that rippled through his life. From his relationship struggles to his health, it was a slow death sentence delivered decades earlier. Death by the Borg, rebirth by choice. In the final moments of Star Trek, Picard Season 1, Jean-Luc's body finally gave out. The artificial lifeform golem that would become his new vessel was meant to extend his life naturally, not indefinitely. But in truth, his death came at the hands of his oldest enemy. The illness that took him was the legacy of the Borg, a final, quiet victory for the hive that had once enslaved him. Yet Picard being Picard, death wasn't the end. His consciousness was transferred into a synthetic body, indistinguishable from his old one, but free from the neural damage caused by the Borg. It wasn't immortality, it was liberation. For the first time in decades, Jean-Luc existed without the shadow of assimilation hanging over him. He had died as Locutus' final victim, but was reborn as the man he was always meant to be. In that rebirth lay his first act of revenge, reclaiming his autonomy, his humanity, and his peace. Season 3, The Borg's Final Gambit. By the time Star Trek Picard reached its third and final season, the Federation had long believed the Borg to be defeated. But as the finale revealed, the Queen had one last card to play. Using residual Borg coding left in the genetic makeup of Picard's son, Jack Crusher, the Borg infiltrated Starfleet's new system and began assimilating the next generation of officers through their transporters. It was a poetic twist of fate, the sins of Locutus literally running through Picard's bloodline. But rather than retreat in despair, Picard faced the darkness head-on. He returned to the Borg cube to rescue his son, fully aware that he might not return. What made this confrontation different from the others was that it wasn't driven by anger, hatred, or vengeance. It was love. For the first time, Picard didn't fight the Borg as a weapon of Starfleet, but as a father. That shift marked his final transformation. From victim to victor, he willingly reconnected to the collective's neural network, not as Locutus, but as Jean-Luc Picard, using the very technology that had once enslaved him to save his child. Jean-Luc's revenge. Picard's revenge wasn't about destroying the Borg Queen or wiping out the collective, though both happened soon after. His true vengeance came in breaking the psychological hold they had over him. The Borg had always seen humanity as weak for valuing individuality and emotion. Yet those same traits became Picard's greatest weapon. When he reached Jack within the Borg's hive mind, he didn't fight the assimilation with phasers or shields. He used empathy. He told his son that he would rather die with him than live without him. That moment of pure connection shattered the Borg's control. The Queen, long sustained by hatred and survival instinct, was undone by the very thing she could never understand: love. For all the Borg's technological superiority, they never evolved beyond their need to consume others. Picard, however, transcended his trauma, his guilt, and even death itself. The man who was once their most prized assimilation had now become their undoing, a legacy of victory. In the end, the Borg finally killed Jean-Luc Picard, twice, even, but he never truly lost. His first death freed him from their biological curse. His second confrontation freed him spiritually. The Borg's obsession with perfection had blinded them to the answering back. It was